Another view from the International Space Station, flying from the northwest to the west of 95p. Joint Typhoon Warning Centre has it as a tropical cyclone, and they've tagged it as 08p. And for New Year's Eve, welcome to our second update for the day via the Force 13's Australia Oceania channel. And we start off with the latest from the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre. It's the life of the system, and they have it at 12.8 degrees south, 139.6 degrees east. Location is centered by a combination of satellite radar synoptic data. Maximum sustained winds 35 knots, gusting 45. And is positioned 436 nautical miles northwest of Cairns, tracking westward at 11 knots, and this is over the last 6 hours. And this is the centre's current track chart. Animated multispectral satellite imagery, radar imagery from the Reaper radar depicts a consolidating system with deep convective banding wrapping around the southern and western semicircles. A SCAT path and a SNAP image indicates 30 to 35 knot winds plus some isolated 40 knot winds over the west quadrant, surrounding an elongated world-defined centre which supports the current position with good confidence. Current intensity is assessed slightly higher than the KNES PGTW4 estimates. On T2, 30 knots based on the ASCAT SNAP data. Upper level analysis reveals a marginally favourable environment with strong 20 to 25 knots vertical wind shear offset by good poleward outflow, excellent equatorward outflow as the system tracks eastward over the next 24 hours, decreasing vertical wind shear, very warm 30-31 Celsius sea surface temperature values, and high ocean heat content values are expected to support significant intensification prior to Tropical Cyclone 08 making landfall over the Cape York Peninsula. Intensity forecast guidance also indicates a spike to 55 to 60 knots within the next 24 hours with 2 rapid intensification aids triggered. R125, R130. The JTWC's intensity forecast peaks at 55 knots at the 24-hour mark, but could peak higher if vertical wind shear decreases quickly than expected after emerging over the Coral Sea within 36 hours or near 36 hours. The system should continue tracking east-southeast through to the 96-hour mark under the steering influence of a near equatorial ridge positioned to the north. After 96 hours, a north-south oriented steering ridge is forecast to build east of the system, effectively halting the eastward progression and producing a slow track to the south or southeast. Environmental conditions are forecast to degrade over the Coral Sea with increasing northwesterly and then northerly upper level flow over the system. Therefore, only slight re-intensification is likely around the 72-hour mark to the 96-hour mark. Due to a short period of quasi-stationary motion in the early forecast period, a fairly large spread in numerical model solutions at the 72 hour 340 nautical mile and 120 hours 460 nautical miles, and there remains high uncertainty in the JTWC's forecast track, and at this point in time maximum wave height is 12 feet. And whilst we have a look at the latest modelling and the tracks, details the tropical low has 1300 hours. Tropical low sustained winds in the centre of 55 kilometres an hour with wind gusts at 85 kilometres an hour, located within 75 kilometres to 12.8 degrees south, 139.7 degrees east, estimated to be 230 kilometres west northwest at Arakoon, 240 kilometres west of Reaper, tracking west northwest 11 kilometres an hour. Tropical low is moving west over the Gulf of Carpentaria, expected to turn back towards the Cape York Peninsula overnight. The low is expected to develop into a tropical cyclone early New Year's Day. Gales with peak gusts in excess of 90 kilometres an hour are expected to develop from Tuesday morning in coastal adjacent inland areas between Cape York and Port Poru. Apology for the pronunciation on that one. And may extend south to Koyama. Isolated damaging wind gusts may occur otherwise with thunderstorms over Cape York. Here's some models. And a separate severe weather warning remains current. Heavy rainfall may lead to flash flooding likely across far north Queensland over the next few days, and a flood watch remains current for coastal catchments north of Carnival, including catchments across the Cape York Peninsula, and a separate weather warning remains in place for rainfall on the northeast tropical coast. Now we have a look at the NOAA floaters, and tides will be higher than predicted through the Torres Strait and the Northwest Cape. People between the Cape York and Koyama should immediately commence or continue preparations, especially securing boats and property using available daylight hours. And due to the severe weather, Queensland Emergency Services have had to suspend their search for the lady that went missing yesterday, and please monitor all the Bureau's warnings. And again, a warning remains in place for the northeast Gulf of Carpentaria, Torres Strait, strong wind warnings, southeast Gulf of Carpentaria Peninsula, Cooktown, Cairns Coast, and for New Year's Day, instead of the storm force wind warning, they've downgraded it to go a warning. Southeast coast, or I should say southeast Gulf of Carpentaria, northeast Gulf of Carpentaria, Torres Strait, and the Peninsula coast. Strong wind warning for New Year's Day, Cooktown, Cairns, Townsville. And severe weather warning for people in parts of the Peninsula forecast districts, damaging winds, heavy rainfall, abnormally high tides. Severe weather warning for heavy rainfall for parts of the Peninsula North Tropical Coast, tablelands, heavy rainfall developing about the northeast tropical coast between Cape Tribulation and Cape Melville overnight, extending further over the warning area Tuesday. The warning area is Leichhardt River and just to the south of Port Douglas, heading towards Cairns. Now we have a look at the 24-hour shear tendency, and decreasing is the blue, increasing is the right. Now the 850 millibar vorticity clearly shows how strong the vorticity is for the developing tropical low. JTWC has a tropical cyclone, and we have invest 98, 97, 94p. And 94p is tropical depression or disturbance 03F in the Fiji region. And finally, in this update, we have a look at the upper level divergence and wind shear. We will continue to bring the latest information on the developing tropical scene. And what a mess when you look at that massive area in red. And up to around probably 80 knots of wind shear.
You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com, our YouTube page youtube.com/Force13, on Facebook under the same name Force 13, and our Twitter handle, it's @Force13 if you wish to get in touch. You can also add Force 13 on Skype and my personal account on Discord, Fool13, at extension 9094.